Dear child of God, a lot of discussion has been around prophetic insights lately. I've discovered some really insightful lessons by Perry Stone that I think are very important for us to think about. Perry Stone, a revered clergyman, renowned for his profound comprehension of biblical prophecy, has revealed revelations that appear to be more pertinent to the world we live in today. His insights into Scripture, especially with regard to end-time events and how they correspond with contemporary events, provide a sobering and enlightening outlook. His prophecy may help us navigate these uncertain times with deeper knowledge. Thus, I feel obligated to share it with you. Perry Stone revealed a revelation he received from God. Normally, he receives some sort of word about a political election every year. However, what was strange about 2020 was that he received absolutely no word about what was going to happen. People would ask him who he thought would win, and he would respond, "I have no idea." He isn't one of those people who just makes predictions or goes out and names. Unless he really believes that the Spirit of God has placed it in his heart, the Lord stated, "He spoke something to us that is a message for Donald Trump." Even though Donald Trump may never watch or see it, Perry wants you to be aware of this message. Perry wrote this book around a year after the 2020 election. Its chapter 10, The Rise of the Trump Stunt, has comments stated in it. But the first thing you need know is that Perry's ministry studies biblical cycles and numbers, significances, Greek and Hebrew vocabulary and expressions. As a result, one of his favorite things to do is go back into biblical history, sometimes secular history, and show you events that are unquestionably repeating themselves. For example, when Trump lost the 2020 election, many speculated about possible election interference or illegality, but that's not what he wants to deal with. Instead, he wants to deal with the fact that what has been is that which shall be, and that which has been done is that which shall be done. A pattern he identified in Scripture that he discussed in 2021. It has to do with a monarch known as King Nebuchadnezzar, and seems to be recurring. Perry sought approval from a close friend of President Trump's in the ministry, who informed him that this material is current and urgent, which is why Perry Stone wishes to share it with you, rather than for someone to say, "Perry Stone said that he thinks the Lord already knew what was going to happen and had a plan," since he doesn't believe Perry Stone's plan. And this is what he wants to talk about right now. There will be a component of this that some of you won't agree with, but it won't be the first time he's ever said anything that people disagree with. What does the Trump stump imply this time around? He wants you to know what he said on page 127, where he describes how the patterns of old Babylon and Babel are now converging on America, and the globe, with Nimrod, Genesis 11, representing politics of control globalism, and autocratic powers. The people of Babylon, or the Babylonian system, rejected the true God and saw themselves as lesser gods. But King Nebuchadnezzar prioritized Babylon, making his empire the envy of the world. He was regarded as the greatest king of the Neo-Babylonian Empire, and he was credited with rebuilding much of Babylon and bringing it back to its former glory. Not that he was a religious man. Instead, he surrounded himself and his inner circle specialist in finance and economics, international commerce, and he appointed 4 Jewish young men who were all devout followers of the real God to positions of authority. His soldiers caused fear across the globe because the king would use them to put an end to any uprising or rebellion. Before becoming president, both Nebuchadnezzar and Donald Trump had empires that comprised 13 hotels. Nebuchadnezzar was the Trump of his day. Pay particular attention to what he says. 17 golf facilities both domestically and internationally, as well as real estate transactions valued around $823,000. As president, Trump used business principles and leverage to cancel bad trade deals and rewrite them to help America benefit. He was also the first U.S. president to challenge China in a trade war. Trump Towers, his main office complex in New York, is a 58-story, 644-foot skyscraper that serves as the headquarters for the Trump Organization. The reason he brings that up is that Genesis 11 speaks of the Tower of Babel, which was a part of ancient Babylon. Private consultations as a presidential advisor. Having survived the Holocaust, Jared's grandparents immigrated to the U.S. in 1949. Because Jared was the main negotiator for the Middle East agreements, he would be similar to Daniel from the Babylonian tale of Nebuchadnezzar. Daniel had 3 male companions, including Jared, so don't get too worked up over what he's saying. Instead, calm down and lower your blood pressure. Well, they may discuss many of the similarities between this and the 3 children that Ivanka Trump's daughter has. But what he wants to discuss is what's intriguing at the height of his power. When an angel appeared to King Nebuchadnezzar in a dream, he chopped down a large tree in the dream, leaving just a stump standing. The angel was then instructed to circle the tree 7 times, leaving the stump in place. They deduced the meaning of this, and this is what it meant. One of the main leaders of the Globe Empire, King Nebuchadnezzar, had a problem. The dream befell him because of his weakness and pride. He called Daniel in, and Daniel told Nebuchadnezzar, "King, the tree is your kingdom. It's everything you've got. People depend on you. You're wealthy. You've built an empire. But God is going to permit there to be a cutting down, an apparent cutting down, of what you have done. There's going to be 7 times pass around you and the stump remains in the earth.